How would you characterise what has happened here and indeed what can be done next?
Look, a couple of things. I mean, Islamic State has made no secret that they want to target Europe and the West. What we have to understand is that since September 2014, Al-Adnani, the spokesman of Islamic State, had made a case of homegrown terrorists to go after us and not to go to Syria and Iraq. At that point in time, that's when everything changed and when you had much more fighters and radical people looking at hitting our cities.
There has always been terrorism. Why is it so many jihadists from Britain, from France, from Belgium? Why is it now so many young men and, to a lesser degree, young women are joining the Islamic State?
A couple of things. The main one is Syria. Syria, Syria, Syria. We got Syria wrong. For many years, the narrative was, look, the West is tired of Middle Eastern wars, we're not going to intervene. And after the chemical attack in Ghouta in August 2013 and the red line that Obama had set up, the fact that the West didn't intervene was basically a godsend for Islamic State, saying, look, your countries that are supposed to defend human rights are not coming to save children that are dying. They're coming to save the dictator Assad.
Mr. Ambassador, is that the point then, that Europe and the United States and the West more generally got their foreign policy wrong, and hence we have domestic security implications because of a lack of ability to act cohesively and forcefully on a foreign policy?
Well, I will not pronounce myself on whether we had it right or wrong, but obviously the problems come from there. You have the potential, you have an ideology, you have images and texts that are sent all over the world showing at one point an ideology, and on the other side also the fact that people are dying, and this moves young persons or less young persons who identify with them. It is true what the gentleman is saying, that it comes from Syria. I will not pronounce myself on whether we had it right or wrong, because what is happening also in Syria happens to be the fault of those who are in Syria.
I want to move on to Olivia's point about a rethink now required on security, and I think for the average person on the street, after an attack like what happened in Paris and in Belgium yesterday, people say, well, why isn't there more security? You go into the tube station here in London, you go into big shopping malls, and there's barely any security. You make the point that perhaps we need to start operating more like the Israelis have done. What does that mean? Is that feasible for European countries?
It's going to be tough, but you need to start somewhere. If there's no security at some point when you're walking into a building, then the issue comes down to making it more difficult for them. Because as you've seen in the case of Paris, they didn't attack the transport system. They attacked soft targets, cafe, restaurant, that you cannot protect. But in places that are really symbolical, because they go also after the symbol, you have to make sure that a minimum of security that is manageable has to be there.